Hello Vinyl Community, this is Randy, back today with another video. Today am going to show you some jazz records I've picked up in the past couple weeks. I've only got 4 of them to show, but all 4 of them are just so awesome that I really want to go ahead and show them to you as soon as possible. So that's what I'm going to do here. I was at Phonolux last weekend, and I was just looking through the records to see what they had there. I actually was about to leave. I didn't see anything that especially appealed to me, and I figured I could maybe get out of here without getting anything. So then I just took one last look, and I couldn't believe it. It was almost like when I was there the previous time and I saw that Lonnie Smith record when I was on my way out. I was just taking a last quick look and I saw this record. This record may look familiar to you if you watch Local Bandography. He showed this record in a recent video. Lonnie Smith Live is the record. Dave, Local Bandography, showed this record, and he just made it sound so great that I immediately put it on my want list. And I was going to order it maybe from Discogs or something, and then here it was. I mean, this record, look at that, it looks like new, and it plays like new. It's a fantastic record. It has a gatefold sleeve. So this was recorded in 1977, May 19, 20, and 21 in 1977 at Smucker's Cabaret in Brooklyn, New York. So this is Lonnie Smith playing keyboards. He has a whole band that's playing with him here. You can see all the members here. It's Donald Smith on flute and vocals, Dave Hubbard on tenor and soprano sax, Hollywood Barker on drums, Michael Carvin on percussion, Al Anderson bass, and Ronald D. Miller on guitar. So this album just starts out with Sorceress, and the guitar player, Ronald D. Miller, he just shreds on that first song. It's absolutely fantastic. The next song, Prelude, gives the bass player a chance to shine. Obviously, Lonnie Smith is playing throughout. There is quite a bit of crowd noise, which I think really enhances it. It really it almost sounds like it's part of the show. The crowd is obviously really into it, so it all sounds great. This is jazz fusion, very upbeat jazz fusion. And side 2 gets to be maybe a little bit more jam influenced. So really cool. I'm very happy to get this one. Local Bandography. I've just gotten a record that he suggested, Azar Lawrence, which was awesome. So I've actually got a couple other records on my want list from him, and I actually saw on Instagram that guy who does the Sunday morning show. What's his name? Steve Carlman. He'd gotten this Joe McPhee record that he saw Local Bandography recommend, and Dave over there, I highly recommend that channel if you haven't seen it before. He's just always showing some fantastic records. Like I said, I've got several more on my want list from him. Here is that record. It's just the basic RCA label. A lot of that keyboards on that Lonnie Smith record, they sound kind of like, they almost sound like a vibraphone. They have that ringing tone, that lingering tone that you get with a vibraphone. And actually, the next record I'm going to show you is from Joel Ross, Kingmaker. Joel Ross is a vibraphonist. This is a new album, actually, on Blue Note Records. It's just recently been released on vinyl. It came out a few months ago on CD, I believe. So Joel Ross is a vibraphonist, and he's played with some other people. I actually just saw a video earlier today from William Now, where he was showing a record I can't remember who it was that did the record, but Joel Ross played on that one. So this is his first record as the leader, and this is great. So he plays vibraphone. He has really just sort of a standard, standard band on here. He has a alto sax player, piano, bass, and drums. So I've really been enjoying this one. It's jazz. I would call it just traditional jazz. It's very well written, and it actually reminds me a lot of Gary Burton, Chick Corea CDs from the 90s. They produced, I think, 3 or 4 CDs, and it sounds a lot like that. It's a lot of piano and a lot of vibraphone working together. It sounds really good. There is a song with vocals on here. There's a song called Frida's Disposition that's sung by Gretchen Parlato, and that sounds great. A lot of times with jazz, I'm not a real big fan of vocals where they maybe just stick in one song. I mean, I love jazz vocalists, Ella Fitzgerald and all those people, Kitty Markville, like jazz vocalists, but sometimes on albums like this where they just stick one song in there with vocals, doesn't work out so well. This one was perfect, though. Yeah, Frida's Disposition really sounds nice. By the time they get to side D, Diana, and It's Already Too Late, it does evolve more into a little bit more of a jazz fusion, almost sort of a free jazz thing, but for the most part this is well written and played. That sounds really good. This is a 2-record set, but I'm not sure it would have been a 2-record set if it weren't released on CD first. I think it's probably like 50 minutes long or something, so some of the sides are only 10 or 12 minutes long, a couple of them are 18, so it works out well. This is very standard Blue Note label. So yeah, Joel Ross, new vibraphonist. Got that one last week at Griney's. While I was there, I got this record. This is a band called Sphere. This record was released in 1974. This band is Sphere. They were a jazz rock fusion group, I think. Evidently they were formed by this guy, Larry Nazzaro, who had worked with several other people. I think well, he worked with several other people that I can't think of who they were right now. All these instrumentalists are great, though. So on here we have Larry plays tenor and soprano sax. There's also trumpet and flugelhorn by Eddie Nusilli. Keith Vreeland plays electric piano. That is a name I've heard before. He's the only person here that I was really familiar with. I mean, I wasn't really familiar with him, but I had heard that name before. Jimmy Peluso on drums and John Dana on bass. It has this cool gatefold sleeve that shows some posters. They were playing at, in Detroit. Here it looks like they were from the Detroit area because all these posters are for shows in that area. And I think this must have been, this is a reissue from '74. It was originally just one record, and they spaced it out some. They took the very last song on the album, Spitfire, and stuck it on side 3, but it's only 1 minute. And then after that, there are 2 unknown tracks. So evidently those had not been released before, so they're released for the first time. Most of the album is up here on sides 1 and 2. Yeah, this is jazz fusion, and it sounds fantastic. The drummer is great. I think he has taken a lot from Tony Williams. He was some very good drumming. I was going to, it has this thing written in circles, so I guess they're just describing themselves here, and it says, a sphere is the all-encompassing maximum mobile shape formed from the inside out of 5 musicians. The concept of sphere was and is a method of self-description whose musical meaning is one that is continually changing, coexisting like in and out. macrocosm, microcosm, slow and fast, hot and cold. That describes it pretty well, really. Some of it's slow and very introspective, and other times they really start cooking. Yeah, 70s jazz fusion, sphere. It's fantastic. Very happy about this. I mentioned the drumming here of Tony Williams. Here's the label for that one. This is on Fat Beats. That's the name of that. And then that one did have a hype sticker, which I saved following this method that I learned from Michigan Record Club. This just says this limited edition of the Sphere reissue 2 LP of 1,000 copies was remastered from the original master tapes and contains 2 unknown tracks. Original artwork was restored. So, I've really been enjoying this one. So, another 2 record set. The last one I have to show you today is one that I'm so happy about. Miles Smiles. This was released in March. This is, what is it? Acoustic Sounds, original master recording. MoFi, Mobile Fidelity, I guess is the company that put this out. So this is Miles Smiles from his second famous quintet in the mid-60s. This is on 45 RPM. It's spread across 2 records. It's beautiful. Gatefold sleeve there. Wayne Shorter, Miles, Ron Carter. See Tony Williams there. There's Herbie Hancock up there. I know why they called this album Miles Smiles, because Miles is just looking out there on stage and seeing that he has Wayne Shorter, Ron Carter, Tony Williams, and Herbie Hancock in his band. That would be enough for anybody to smile. I tell you what they could have called this record would be, a good name for it would have been Tony Williams Rules, because this album is, I would say, is dominated by Tony Williams. His drumming is so incredible. The most incredible part of it is he hardly ever even hits the drums. It's mostly all on cymbals and hi-hats. A lot of it he's just playing with brushes. It's really quiet. When I was first listening to it, I was hearing something coming out of the speaker over on the right, and I thought, man, is that some sort of a flaw in the record? But it wasn't. It's Tony Williams playing extremely quietly with some brushes. Dynamics are just incredible. He goes from incredibly quiet to then all of a sudden he'll drop a bass drum in there. It's just awesome. Miles Smiles. So Wayne Shorter. On this record, really, also, I was just reminded of how great a trumpet player Miles Davis is. You know, a lot of times we think so much about the bands that he plays with and everything, but he was a great trumpet player himself. A lot of unmuted trumpet here, which usually when I think of Miles Davis, a lot of times I just think of that muted trumpet sound, which there is some of that on here, but he's also playing a lot of unmuted trumpet. So one of the best songs on here, Side 2, Footprints. I had a version of this by Kitty Margolis that she added words to it. It's a really great song, goes on for about 10 minutes. 45 RPM. The sides are all just about 8 to 10 minutes long. It's really not too bad as far as, having to get up and turn it over frequently. And I think the sound is worth it. It really just sounds awesome. And actually, I'm thinking about getting a couple more. These second quintet records have all been issued on MoFi now in this 45 RPM format. And I think they sound great. So, I'll show you the label on this one. So that's it. Those are the records that I have to show you today. I want to thank Dave over there at Local Bandography very much for all the tips, and I'll be tuning in. I've added more records to my want list, so I'm sure you'll be hearing more from me on that in the future. So that's it. Have you heard any of these records? Anybody have heard these? Especially that Lonnie Smith. I think it is probably pretty available, and I can't recommend that one highly enough. But all 3 of these have been great. So I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on them. So thanks very much for watching, and yeah, I hope you have a great day.